The story of David and Goliath is often portrayed to us as if David was a seemingly naive kid with the equivalent of a toy slingshot, supernaturally used by God to devastating effect. But as you can see from these clips from YouTubers Dash Rindar and Mike Shake, these slings weren't mere toys. These were serious weapons. In fact, Mike Shake did this on his first day toying with the sling. Hannibal the Great, the Carthaginian general known for nearly bringing Rome to its knees in the Second Punic War, employed 2,000 slingers in his army. One of Rome's leading generals was severely wounded by a slinger in the Battle of Cannae, which contributed to his death. So David killed Goliath with a ranged weapon used professionally by militaries across the Bronze and Iron Ages and into classical antiquity even. Well, if that's the case, then what's the point of the story even? Like, you might be wondering, okay, David killed Goliath with a common weapon of the time. Big deal. What's the takeaway then? I'd argue the takeaway from the story of David and Goliath isn't simply that God will miraculously intercede and slay your giants for you, but rather, and this is so important, that God has ordained the mundane in your life to properly equip you for current and future tasks that will require faithful collaboration with Him. Think about it. David spent many years as a shepherd. Like, this was basically like the minimum wage, like, job nobody wants. He became proficient with the sling out of necessity with this, though. He used it to fend off predators that would want to make lunch of his lambs. So think Mr. Miyagi, wax on, wax off. What had been mundane, everyday work for David was actually God's divine providence at play, equipping this young man with a skill that would one day be paired with his faith and bravery, and with God's guidance, to fell a terrifying foe of Israel. Now, most of us aren't going to save our entire nations, or be king, or fell literal giants, but for each and every one of us, there are future tasks that God will have made us capable of facing through our own shepherd seasons. These seasons may often feel like misadventures, like life going off track, but if you're walking with God, they're not on accident. There's always a purpose, whether in a task within that season itself, or in a future task that God is preparing you for. So if you're going into 2026 and your life isn't quite where you want it to be, think about this. Maybe this is your shepherding season. Live well in that season. Do your best in that season. David honed his skill with the sling in his determination to be a good shepherd, not to slay giants. Whatever you are at any time, be a good one, and honor God with your work ethic, as if working for God, not for man. And let this be a reminder to consistently walk with God, as at any time He may call upon any of us to make use of our experiences, of our talents, of even our trials, however mundane any might be or have been. In 2026, embrace your shepherd season.